Hey guys, what's going on? This is Andrew here today, and we're going to be talking about TVs and when it's time to upgrade them. As someone who has gone through multiple TVs in the past, I think I have enough experience to help someone who is confused on whether they should upgrade or not. This video is going to mainly be a story time video for when I upgraded my TVs and whether I regretted anything or not. At the end, when I'm done with the stories and everything, I will give my advice on whether you should upgrade or not. So let's start off. When I was younger, my family started off with a CRT, which I, for some reason, could not just find a picture of at all. And the highest quality of that CRT was 480i through composite cables. This technology is pretty old nowadays, and even back then, it got irrelevant pretty fast. At some point, it just fell out of place, considering we had just gotten a new cable box, which had a max output of 1080i. So now was the time to upgrade. Component and HDMI were much more commonly used cables, and we felt that it was finally time to upgrade. Eventually, we switched to a Sony HD CRT, which I'm going to show in the picture right here, that was able to take HDMI and supported up to 1080i. This TV was perfect for us because not only did it have the new ports, but it had the component NAV ports for us to be able to use with our other devices that weren't HDMI. You don't get that a lot nowadays with TVs, unfortunately. This leads into how I got into technology and TVs myself. Remember that 480i TV I was just talking about? Well, considering my family had their TV in the living room, they put the other one in the basement, and since I didn't have any game consoles to myself, I played on that TV in the basement. So basically, since we never threw out the TV, like I just said, it was in the basement, and up until the 7th grade, I was using that from forever, basically for my Wii and Xbox 360. At some point, though, I decided to get a TV for my own room, and the TV that honestly wasn't great by any means that I got was a Kobe TV, which is this one right here, that supported HDMI, VGA, component, composite, S-video, and RF. So this was basically a perfect all-in-one starter TV for myself. I continued to use this for roughly a year, but there was one problem. This thing was too damn small, even smaller than the monitor that I was using for my PC. This was 18 inches, as I just said. At this point, my wants were a simple 1080p image and a decent-sized screen that I was able to see from my bed. As it turned out, my dad got a TV for my grandfather the same year, but someone else in the family had actually gotten him an even better one. So that TV was just sitting in our basement in the box, and eventually it ended up being handed to me the same year. This one was a 32-inch 1080p LG TV as shown in this picture, and all it was missing in comparison to my other TV was a S-video and VGA port. But my other TV had now become my secondary computer monitor because I had just built my PC a few months prior at this point. At this point, a majority of my game consoles were HD, and any of the other ones that weren't just looked fine on my screen. For a few years, I used this TV as my primary TV for all of my game consoles, and it was really all I needed considering that the Xbox One and PS4's max resolution was only 1080p anyway. After that, I made a big mistake. The PS4 Pro and Xbox One X were now both announced, and I thought that maybe it was a good idea to get a 4K TV to future-proof my setup for when the next-gen consoles were to come out. Because basically, I was waiting for the next-gen consoles to come out because I knew the PS4 Pro and Xbox One X just meant that they were going to be coming out soon. So, unfortunately, you can't really get a TV a few years before a new device and consider it future-proofing because, as I learned, technology becomes obsolete pretty quickly. The TV that I bought was a 55-inch TCL 4K HDR TV, and although it's a great TV and I still love it to this day, I definitely didn't need to buy it when I did. I never ended up getting the One X or the Pro, so at this point I was just playing 1080p and below from my other consoles. And by the way, anything that didn't use HDMI looked like shit on this TV. And by the time the Series X and PS5 came out, 120Hz TVs started coming out at affordable prices, and it made me feel like I should have waited for getting one of those instead of getting my 4K TV. At this point, I feel like my next upgrade will be when 8K TVs become more affordable, because I know that if I do a slight upgrade from my current 4K TV to one with a higher refresh rate, I'm going to regret it a few years down the line because there's going to be so much better TVs that are more affordable. So, The question is, when is the appropriate time to upgrade? We're now at this point in the video. It really depends on the type of person you are. If you are someone who is a diehard gamer who wants the best possible experience, you're going to find yourself upgrading a lot because unfortunately, top-of-the-line technology just keeps getting better and better. So even if you get like an $8,000 TV now, there's going to be an even better $8,000 TV that should be a lot better a year later. If you're someone like me who wants a great experience but at a middle-range price with a few sacrifices, you can get away with getting something and using it for a few years. So for example, I'd say just get a new TV each console generation because a console's technology doesn't really improve unless you take into account the potential of mid-generation upgrades that we may see, such as the PS5 Pro. But I normally stay away from those as that just means that the next-gen consoles are going to be coming around sooner than we think. So basically what I'm saying here is, if you get like a new console, get a new TV with it because you will be using that TV basically throughout the entire console generation. Don't try to future-proof like I did because it'll end up biting you in the ass later. So if you aren't the type of person who cares too much about picture quality, you can get away with using the same TV for life as long as your devices work with it. Although if there is a system that you want that is unfortunately incompatible with it, you're going to have to upgrade. So this means even if you get adapters to possibly try to get the system and it just doesn't work, obviously you're going to need to upgrade. As things stand, most HD TVs with HDMI capability support everything as long as they still have the minimum resolution at whatever console you are using. I will be testing my PS5 and Xbox Series X on an HD CRT when I get the necessary cables to do so, but for now, that's my take on TVs. Thank you all for watching this video, and I will see you all in the next one.